I've recorded 2 Doordash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub videos already, one of them focusing on how you can maximize your money up to $12,000 in a month. The second one is about why I think that this job will not exist in the not too distant future. I'll leave links in the description below. This video is going to focus on 2 unintentional and 2 intentional and malicious ways that these apps control your state of mind and your mental health and what you can do about it. Make sure you stick around for the last one because I think it's going to cause a lot of controversy. Hey, my name is Christian, but you can call me Lil. Now, before I get started, I really want to give a huge shout out to my newest subscribers. It's a huge blessing. I really appreciate you guys. It encourages me to keep making content. Thank you so much for all the love and discussion in the comments. You guys are doing amazing. I love dissent. If you disagree with anything that I have to say, I want to hear about it in the comments because I'm here to learn just as much as you are. And finally, if you aren't subscribed already, hit that like button, subscribe. I'm going to start mixing up these delivery videos with videos about money, entrepreneurship, lifestyle travel, and health. You're really not going to want to miss. When I first signed up for Doordash, I was in a very difficult and dark place. I was 27 years old, living in London, married with 1 little girl, and my wife was pregnant with our second one. Business had always had its ups and downs, but sorry, it's a bit difficult thinking about it. It's probably the hardest point in my life. Not knowing if you're gonna be able to take care of your family, I don't know. I don't really know what to say. But not knowing if you're gonna be able to take care of your family is just heartbreaking. But anyway, I was in a difficult place, and we were so in debt, and we literally could not borrow anymore. We tried and could not borrow any more money. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, but just that gut-wrenching feeling of getting rejected for a loan that literally feels like it would save your life. I didn't mean to get emotional like that right at the beginning. I usually save that for the end. No, I'm joking. These financial difficulties were not entirely, but largely because of this huge mistake I had made in business just a few months earlier. And if you want to hear more about that, I'm republishing a video on the biggest mistake in business I've ever made. My parents very graciously bought us tickets out to Oregon because they hadn't seen their granddaughter in a year. So, I mean, it was the guise of a Christmas present. But right around Christmas, I remember doing the math. I said, right on or around January 10th, 2020, we would be completely out of money. And if I don't find work before then, that's it. It's the end of the line. I've tried everything. There is no recourse. After applying for dozens of jobs in both Oregon and London, even getting ghosted by minimum wage positions, I very reluctantly signed up for Doordash. I brought my wife along on that very first day. I remember that first $5 cash tip, and it was just like getting this giant hit of cocaine. Not that I know what that feels like, but it was surreal. It was just like, is this even real life? I had never been so happy to see $5 in my life. Even as a child, I wouldn't have been so happy to see $5. I was hooked. I was hooked. There's no other way to put it. I was hooked. Doordash, possibly literally, saved my life. But they also just as easily could have ruined it. Let me tell you how. I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity to dig myself out of this rut. But I do want to take a moment to explore the ways in which Doordash really plays with your mind and in some cases degrades your mental health. The first 2 points are by far the most common questions/complaints that I get about Doordash, Uber Eats. Doordash is only giving me garbage orders. I'm only getting tiny orders, some variation of that. Now, I need to be really clear about my $12,000 month, which is a video that most of you guys have seen now. I also only got garbage orders, or mostly garbage orders. My acceptance rate hovered between 0 and 5%. If you're not multi-apping, if you're not stacking, I never relied on one app. I relied on that last 2, last 3, last 5% of orders being over $10, and then I relied on my knowledge of my market and having extra apps to give me increased volume. You're only getting tiny orders, get on more apps. There are an abundance of them, and some of you in smaller markets like mine, you might be more limited. It's all about stacking orders for multiple apps at the same time. Everyone gets a mixed bag of what I would call good and bad orders, and the vast majority of all orders are bad. This is probably a good time to dispel one of the most toxic rumors that I hear time and time again. If I pick up small orders, I will get rewarded with bigger ones. So I don't know how Satan tricked enough of us into believing this, but it's not true. I obviously didn't create the Doordash algorithm, but I've spent a lot of time as a programmer. I've dived into as much of the publicly available information as I could ever find. And I feel pretty confident telling you that any non-top dasher has the same priority if they're in the same spot as somebody else who's a non-top dasher. Nothing about your acceptance rate matters in terms of what orders are assigned to you. I dive into how those orders are assigned a little bit more in my $12,000 month video, so check that out if you haven't already. Now, why is this in a video about mental health? Well, this is just a natural byproduct of how Doordash works. This isn't malicious. I can't tell you how many times I've sat in the car on doing my deliveries and I've just been like, I knew it was too good to last. This is it. These constant waves of like, it's good, it's bad, it's good, it's bad, is literally killing us. Now, the real reason that rumors like this pop up is because humans by nature look for patterns in everything. It's an adaptation that helped us survive even before modern society existed. The problem is we see an incomplete puzzle, our minds try to fill in the gaps. But the gaps we fill in, we do so based on our own personal experiences, not on objective reality. I got into this rumor big time, and there was a certain point in which I actually thought after you finish an order, you can like rate the order. I remember thinking that I just wasn't getting any more orders after I left a bad rating. It was just like, it's our minds. Our minds are playing tricks on us. Okay? And the faster you realize that, the faster you're going to be able to recognize real patterns. I will tell you what, it played with me. I had been hit and battered by unrelenting wave after wave after wave of bad things that happened in the last 9 months or so that I was just thinking, it's too good to be true. It can't happen. It's too good to last. That thought would live rent free in my head, and it just causes this anxiety in when you're sitting in that metal box traveling 65 miles an hour down the freeway. It's just like, I'm trapped here. There's nothing I can do about it. They have total control. I'm not there. I'm not in control. And there's just nothing more helpless feeling than that. The point is, we create patterns in our minds that don't actually exist. Those patterns are based not on objective reality, but on our own experiences and our own insecurities especially. When we say Doordash is only throwing us trash, now at a certain point that will be true. But until you're taking long-term statistical analysis, you can't know that for sure. It's always going to be based on some insecurity that you have, not some tendency that's happening right now. Probably the most appropriate thing to say, because it's January. I don't know if you guys realized, but January for restaurants is the slowest month of the year. If you are beaten down right now, this is a short-term tendency. I do predict that this job will end in a few years, but you still have the opportunity. Wait it out. It's January. Everything's slow. That's just how business works. You have to think of your money in quarters, in years, not in days, not in hours. You're gonna have bad days. Now, the second biggest complaint / question that I get is, I'm not getting many or any orders. And I know exactly how frustrating that can be, and it's kind of along the same lines as what I was just talking about with small orders. Every market is unique. Generally, more population, higher population means more orders, but there is some nuance to it. Even though Doordash is the dominant player in the United States, that doesn't mean that it is in your market. Don't be afraid to try a different one. Don't be afraid to experiment. But also know that just because it's not good right now, doesn't mean it never will be. You need to realize that delivery, any business, goes through hourly, weekly, monthly, seasonal, even annual waves. And that's why businesses, they don't measure their income in hours or days. They measure their income in quarters and years. These waves are not always predictable, and you will not know about long-term tendencies until you take a long-term statistical analysis. I was out there with pen and paper actually recording data and trying to analyze it over the long run. Figured out that the rich neighborhood is busy, but only on the weekends. Traffic from about 3 to 6 in the north end of my town, and that a lot of the tendencies that I thought were happening were not. They were phantom. It was just a spoof. It was just something that happened 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and then it was over. I can't tell you how many times I thought, like I said before, rent-free, bad day equals the gravy train is over, we're done. I felt trapped. Honestly, I felt trapped, because the thing is that I can't tell you how demoralizing it is. Waking up day after day and just like having a bad day that just, I dug myself out of the immediate emergency thing here, but I am not out of the woods yet. And my family's 5,000 miles away, and just my insecurities just running high, thinking like, this is never gonna last. I'm never gonna be able to take care of my family. And it's just like, I don't know. I think, sorry. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this video. as you can tell, I'm still very raw, and I've not overcome these painful experiences, these insecurities, and it's coming again. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make a point here. I don't blame Doordash for these aspects of it. This fear is my own insecurity, my own experience from being beaten down over and over and over again. I don't expect all of you to be in exactly the same boat, but I do think that there's this tendency to think that when things are not going well, you have no more opportunities. And that's just not true. I want to encourage you and tell you that business, it goes through waves, and sometimes you just have to, you do the best you can, and you ride the wave into the next one. Now, a couple of things that helped me at the time and in the moment, for starters, telling myself that a bad day is just a bad day. I would tell myself, I'd say, after crying it out for a while, it's a wrinkle in the statistical sheet that is going to be ironed out in the long run. That's all it is. I would shoot, edit, and upload stock videography. This is what's become my passive income and what has helped me kind of break this cycle. But at the time, it really served as a reminder that I'm working on something bigger. I'm not just living for today. I'm not just living for tomorrow. I'm not just digging myself out of this damn hole. I'm building something that's going to propel me into the future. And while I've had businesses in the past, I knew that having something like a passive income with stock videography was going to be the only way that I was going to be truly free, because it creates like this buffer. If I for some reason stop getting clients, I still have something to fall back on. And that's why I'd encourage all of you guys to do the same thing. Think of what you want to do. Either get a bunch of money in the bank or come up with a passive income that really propels you into the future. For me, that's stock videography. I'll be coming out with a video soon about how I make $3,000 a month selling stock media. Make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss that. The third thing that I do to like really clear my mind is I hike. So sometimes after a particularly bad day, I will excuse myself for a few hours. I'm going to be honest, it's my sanctuary. Nothing short of the rest of the world can go f itself when I'm in the woods, when I'm on the mountains. And last but not least, on a particularly bad day, I would go get a blizzard. More than I care to admit. Honestly, Oregon is one of, if not the most beautiful state. Do not want to fall down there. It's actually super slippery. Getting British suddenly. The third thing that Doordash does, and this is both malicious and intentional, is they play on your fear of missing out. Now, I didn't have to deal with this quite as much because most of the time I was working just like all day, every day, as much as I possibly could. Like, you're playing with your kids and you think, how much money am I missing out on right now? You have a date scheduled for Saturday and you ask your wife, Downey, can we please push it to Tuesday? Sorry, Mom, we're gonna have to move your birthday to Wednesday. And I'm actually guilty of that one. Everything good that could possibly happen is happening. You have this type of earnings when you can earn money anytime, anywhere. It creates this certain urgency. This obviously isn't unique to Doordash or to any of the delivery apps. It is happening increasingly in our society. What's different about the apps, that earnings potential. I'm gonna miss out on $400, but to me, $400 is a round trip ticket to Turkey. $400 is a camera lens. Now, some of us are more susceptible to falling for this than others, but I do think that as a delivery driver, a lot of us are kind of entrepreneurial minded, a bit gambler-esque. And so that fear of missing out really plays on us, really stresses us out. I can't tell you how to fix that because honestly, I always have fear of missing out. But one thing that doesn't help is a lot of people will tell you that you should set your expectations of what's going to happen lower. Reasoning behind that would be like, if I just tell myself, no, there's no way I can make $400, I'm just gonna make $50, I'll only make $100, then it's easier to ignore that fear of missing out. Now, I've tried that, and for me, it doesn't work. And the reason I think is because my mind is always going, but what if? Doordash takes this a step further because they notify you when it's busy. And suddenly you've got that feeling in your stomach. You're thinking, should I go out? Should I not go out? And right there, they've got you. Even if you ultimately decide not to go out, they still got you. If you're anything like me, they may have just ruined your whole evening. Most of us, those expectations are set based on past experiences. And so that inkling What if it's like that $300 night that I had, which is just pure evil if I'm honest. When they say it's busy, it's not actually busy. A lot of people don't realize this, but what it means when it's busy is we have orders that are not being taken. Now, whether they have orders that are not being taken because it's actually busy, it could be just that the orders are so small that nobody wants to take them. And so it could be that you go out, there's one order, then you already drove all the way into town, all the way to the person's house. You got one order, maybe it was good, maybe it wasn't. What does help is saying, what I'm doing right now is valuable. I'm relaxing, I'm watching TV, I'm reading a book, I'm improving my business. It might not be monetary. You know you need a day off, you know you need rest, you know you need to go on a hike, you know you love spending time with your kids. This could turn into money for me. However, what I'm doing right now has value. This is exactly where I want to be. I want to take my wife on a date. I want to take my mom to the movies. I want to have a day off. I want to drive to Crater Lake because I like Crater Lake. All jobs will make you miss important events. But there's something unique about this one because it's the only time where you can make X money at Y time, and that's better than A money at Z time. Even when I'm working on my own businesses as an entrepreneur, there's never really a situation where I can't postpone my work to a different time and suddenly the work is worth less than it was before. That just doesn't happen. So there's one last thing that I want to talk about, and it's kind of how I started this video, and that is that the way that these apps designed their apps is literally like a drug. Scientists tell us that fast food and sugar is just as addictive as cocaine. That's not an exaggeration. Doordash is no different. Grubhub is no different. They're activating the pleasure centers in our brain, and they're creating this mental dependence on the sound, on the money rising, on everything. Now, the truth is that the entire process of earning money now is gamified. It's designed to be as addictive as possible, and it's designed to make it so that you can't get off of it. In a lot of ways, it's no different than a sugar addiction. It's no different than a fast food addiction. Do your ears ever perk up when you hear the DoorDash sound? Maybe you're on a date or you are going to your favorite restaurant and their tablet goes off. Do you actually does that like trigger something in your brain to think, what am I doing right now? Do you see red and think DoorDash? Do you see red and think I should be earning money right now? It might be stuck in my brain forever, but a not insignificant subset of us are going to be addicted long term in the same way that a cocaine addict will be addicted to cocaine in the long run. Like I said in my last video, this job's going to be gone in 5-10 years, and a lot of us are going to keep going down with that sinking ship because we have a dependence on it. I don't want you to be one of those people. I don't want to be one of those people. DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, they're engineered to be addictive. They're engineered to light up those pleasure centers in your brain, to keep you on the road, to keep you there when they need you. They'll kick you to the curb as soon as they're done with you. And the truth is, it's especially dangerous when you mix this kind of addiction with your means of making a living, with your income. This shouldn't be your life. Your job should not be your life. You can be passionate about your job, but your life is your family, your kids, the things that you really enjoy. Your job is not your life. I have a friend, an old high school acquaintance, who has been involved with multi-level marketing schemes since we graduated from high school. I'm not gonna say DoorDash is an MLM because it actually does provide an income, but the gamification is there. The levels, everything, every telltale sign of something that's designed to be addictive is there. MLM after MLM after MLM has been taken down by the FTC, and he's still doing it. He's still finding new ones somehow. I didn't even know there were that many, but he's probably been through like 10 of them. I just watch his life fall apart every couple of years, and it's really sad. And I think that the same thing's gonna happen with DoorDash, with Uber Eats, with Grubhub. Lifelong addicts are going to go down with the sinking ship. I don't know what they're gonna do when it actually goes down. Don't be one of those people. Please, build your future. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, I'll still be making some delivery videos, but I'm gonna be mixing them up with entrepreneurship, with money, with lifestyle travel, and with health. So if that sounds like something that interests you, please subscribe, like, hit that bell button so you get notified. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Or day, I don't know when you're watching this.